Hi, holy cow. So out of nowhere, the computer died, and I'm like, great, cool. Well, if it's not going to save the whole lecture I just did prior to this, then I'm going to take tomorrow off and run away to Mexico. And so that'll be the end of me. Just kidding. Just kidding. I didn't have to get that far. It didn't pack my bags or anything. It's currently uploading the first video. So we are, what is that? I feel like I have a glare. It's okay. I don't care. Yeah, out of like 37 slides, I'm on slide 31. I was not going to start over. But anyway, all right, back to business. So I was just saying, I don't remember what BMAA stood for. You guys actually covered that when you read your article, but it said one cyanotoxin, so it shows blue. BMAA is an altered amino acid. It's a powerful neurotoxin, and research is now being carried out to determine if it's an environmental cause of some human neurodegenerative conditions like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease. Okay, I just thought it was going to call it something a little bit more. Okay, whatever. BMAA. And that's caused by cyanobacteria. The organisms who are affected are going to be predatory fish, the bigger fish, birds, and otters. Causes rashes, allergies, liver disease, the effects of the nervous system, and is a possible link to neurodegenerative diseases. Sargassum, named from the Sargassum Sea because there was so much of it floating around. So it's a genus of macroalgae, brown macroalgae. It shows brown. It is really, really good. It has a lot of adaptations, a lot of xanthophylls, and in addition to phytoethrins, it's a really good adaptation for being able to do photosynthesis. It's very successful, and it's a macroalgae. Some brown algae is single cellular, and you can't see it, like the algae that would be kind of floating around in your intertidal zone. But you even sometimes have huge mats of these floating around in our intertidal zone, and it's okay. Like they're freely floating. They get stuck in our hair. They get stuck in our bathing suits. You find them randomly, and you're like, where does this come from? We don't enjoy sitting by them. It's almost like we need to rake up the beach so that us wonderful humans can enjoy the beach that we want to assume is ours. You know what I'm talking about. Like, and you don't want to go in the water when they're out there because you feel like there's so many things you don't know touching you because it's weird. That's sargassum. It's a brown macroalgae. Okay, so there's a lot of different kinds of species. Like the one I keep thinking about is Sargassum natans, Natans. Sargassum natans is the one that floats in huge mats, and it's like a nursery ground for organisms. There's many species are planktonic, so again, freely floating. Even some of them can grow on a substrate, but weather can break them off, and that's okay because they can freely float. They have the little air bladders, or the I want to say nematocysts. Yes, nematophores are what's on your mangrove, so they can absorb oxygen. Okay, so Sargassum natans and Sargassum fluitans have become halopelagic. Halo means whole or entire. And then pelagic, the pelagic area is the entire open sea. Okay, so halopelagic, they can take over the whole open sea, and they can spend their entire life just cycles of floating and floating and floating and really never have to attach to a seabed. So the Sargasso Sea in the Atlantic is named after how much sargassum is in there. You can see the Sargasso Sea right here. Continuing sargassum. Can I make this smaller? I know I can. Okay, good. Nice. Really nice for camouflage right there. So sargassum, this is, I believe, Sargassum natans, is found again floating along mats. They don't have any roots. They're composed of really tough, flexible fibers that can resist wave pounding. Sometimes they're twisted on themselves, like the one you guys saw, Fucus spiralis. Fucus spiralis is the one you guys were looking at in the main region, and it has an adaptation where it's spiral so that it's not going to desiccate or freeze. Okay. They have air bladders called nematocysts to help them stay afloat, so instead of them sinking. They're a food source, rich in diversity for marine life, turtles, crustaceans. They're a habitat. They provide oxygen. They provide protection. So they're also a nursery ground. They can slow down water movement. I'm going through all of these because I know that there's a question that says about nursery grounds in Sargassum, and yeah, you definitely have a question about that. I don't have your completed study guide in front of me to look that up any closer, but yeah, they produce oxygen, so that's really good, especially in the open ocean where you don't have a lot of mixing. They are protection, but they are also a habitat for organisms that obviously live there. They're good for eggs to be attached to and grow on, and to be a nursery ground. They slow down currents and water movement. Okay, in the shallow water, and then all we have is the intertidal zone left. In your shallow water, see, so it can be clear coastal waters that light can penetrate the seabed. Producers can attach to the substrate. So this is going to be within 200 meters, definitely within 200 meters. Producers can attach to the substrate, so they're able to have roots. They're not going to be floating in the open ocean at 6,000 meters deep at least. And they're not going to wash away. So zooxanthellae, we hit this super hard in chapter 2. We hit this super hard in chapter 5, where it was all about corals. But they're a type of dinoflagellate that grow inside coral polyps. They are not free floaters. They live inside the coral polyps and have a mutualistic relationship with them. They can live in giant clams. They can live inside jellyfish and give them different colors. They can live in sea anemones. They enter in the cells through endocytosis. Remember, endo means inside and cyto means cells, so this sucks them in. Or they can be transferred during reproduction. They have a mutualistic relationship. They have accessory pigments. One is called diatodinoaxanthin. They have a lot of different pigments. Your corals have so many different types of colors. There's so many different types of pigments that are available for them, and that can make them so diverse.